Part 2. In part 1, the Nissan ended with my wife trying to start the engine, but sadly with no joy.
Are you wanting me to just turn the key?
Well, don't rev it. Just hopefully it will start and tick over. Or it may not start at all. Step 13 continued. Will it start? To save on the monotony of hearing the engine trying to start, I have shortened them all through editing. That's the engine.
Let's try it.
Well, as long as it doesn't go stupid. Does it need priming?
Try priming it.
I don't know how you do it.
Does it? Is that the fuel primer?
I presume you just push it.
Yeah, normally. Well, it's.
Eh?
Well, mine's normally like a bulb on mine. Okay. Good. Bit faster that time. Pump it again.
I presume that's the pump.
Like it's just not catching.
Well, I don't know, it's not doing anything, is it? It's just turning over. Perhaps something broke. It's not going to start, is it? How's the timing changing, right? No, it seems to be turning over. Turn it over again.
What would happen if I put it in reverse to try and
Well, no, that wouldn't do anything.
reverse and lift the clutch? 'Cause I can't really go forward, you see.
No, the engine's not starting though. It's not starting. I can't actually see cams on that. I need to get a torch maybe. Can you turn it again then?
Yeah, hang on.
The cam's turning. Unless it's not getting fuel. Go with it. Well, no, just leave it for that. Just don't rev it.
Where's the tap, tap, tap? It's just an idea. Just move it back a bit again. I'm just so nervous for this thing. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on the rim, on the fuel tank, on the filler. And there's a lot of blow bar on the piston. And there's a lot of pressure from that. No, but then something's wrong.
I wonder, does my Nissan have a tow bar? Now, reversing's clearly not one of my stronger points. And ironically, I actually did get my Class 1 HGV licence, and my biggest issue is reversing. As you can see, it's not my stronger point. Yes, a tow bar. Now the embarrassing grin and shake your head. Step 14, positive crankcase ventilation, latex glove test, or PCV for short. So the idea behind this test, I know they do it on petrol engines. I'm assuming this still applies to a diesel. It may not though. Is that when you start the engine, there should be a slight vacuum. I get a sort of vacuum as I rev the engine, but I think there is supposed to be a vacuum at tick over, but I'm not totally sure on that. So really this test is, I don't know, might be somewhat pointless. But anyway, I think I'll check some of the pipes out, make sure nothing's blocked that could be leading to this possibly excess pressure. Step 15. Clean the EGR valve. So I'm going to remove the EGR valve since they can block up quite badly because they get full of soot from the exhaust gases that pass through them. A little bit of oil there. That pass through them back into the inlet manifold. Now the purpose of the EGR is to actually reduce nitrogen oxide. What it does is basically by putting the gases from the exhaust, which are somewhat inert because they have carbon dioxide in and water vapour, they'll go back into the inlet manifolds with some of the air, and what it does is it reduces the quantity of oxygen getting into it. Here's the EGR valve now, it's been removed. Here's a photo. So by reducing the oxygen content, the combustion will be lower in temperature, and nitrogen oxide starts to happen at about 1300 degrees, but at 1800 is when it really increases. So if we can get that temperature down, the idea being is we can almost knock nitrogen oxide down by 70%, which obviously we need to do because it's obviously quite a bad gas to be producing. So this is the valve that actually does that job. This one's actually water cooled as well. So also by water cooling it, that further reduces the temperature of the exhaust going in, which again helps to reduce in more nitrogen oxide. Now I'm going to put it onto the bench now and try and give this a good clean out. And as you can see, I'm going to use car brake cleaner here and a screwdriver. Make sure you don't damage the little piston inside, because the valve on the top controls that. So here's a photo to show you the control valve and the coolant and the exhaust that goes in and out. So this is the exhaust that goes in. I'm also going to take the solenoid off now, and as you can see there's like a little plunger there, and that activates the control valve. So if I take the cooling part off as well, there's the valve or the piston, and if you push that up and down, it's quite sticky on this one. See, its operation is sticky. So I'm going to give that all a good clean up now and try and get most of that sticky, sooty residue off. So hopefully this part will operate more efficiently. But saying that, this is actually far cleaner than I expected. So that's actually quite a good sign, really. Because like I say, sometimes they're completely choked solid, and this one's not like that. So it's a good sign that perhaps the engine has had good maintenance in the past. Might give me a little bit more confidence in her that she won't go Diesel Runaway again. There's another part there, look, like a very sticky residue. Definitely want gloves on for this part. So I'll get all that back together now. Nearly forgot to torque the wheel nuts. So normally you get just a figure for the torque wrench settings, but in the Nissan workshop manual they say between 98 and 118 Newton meters. So you sort of get a window of what's acceptable. Let's see how the oil separator got on. This is by no means clean fresh water coming out, but it hopefully is certainly less contaminated, because used engine oil contains polyaromatic hydrocarbons. It contains heavy metals like lead, zinc and magnesium, and also arsenic. So putting this down the drain is really not a good idea. So here we've got the remains now, which is mostly the oil, which I can then just get all that together, put it in a container and take that down to the local recycling where it's disposed of correctly. Step 16. Investigate that handbrake. Now I was hoping that it was just a case of adjust this nuts and all would be well. Little did I know, the Nissan had a little bit more in store for me. A lot more in store actually. Now strip all the brakes. So time to have a closer look. So with the wheel off. So we've got brake disc, but it's also a drum as well. Now I didn't come across that. So the actual handbrake works on some shoes that are inside the actual drum of the disc. So there's the adjuster, the manual adjuster. So that's seen better days. But look at this brake shoe. How does a brake shoe get chewed away? I've never seen a brake shoe like that. So it's looking like we're going to have to buy some new shoes. Springs look alright, but it might as well change those as well. So let's take a look at this handbrake cable then. And that's frayed and binding. So no wonder why that wasn't working. It was only going to go so far and it snaps off quite easily. So we need a cable as well. What else is wrong? This is all rusted to pieces. So I think there was supposed to be like a splash disc there that protects the actual brake disc from water, grit and everything else. That seems to have disappeared. And what have we got here now? We've got a broken bolt. Now that normally holds the handbrake cable in position, so got lots of work here by the look of it. And some more metal. Oh dear. Step 17. Remove that snapped bolt. Time to get this bolt out. I started with 3-in-1 oil, which is way too thin for this. You literally need to pour it on. So I got the Rocoal, which is the proper stuff, which is much thicker. And we're getting somewhere. So what I will have to do is, now that's nearly drilled through, is I'm going to have to re-tap the hole, which is rather time consuming. I'll speed that up. I don't really want to watch it going on there for half an hour. So you have to go through 3 of those. So you've got it all done nice and cleanly. So now our bolt should go through there, and that will hold the handbrake cable in position properly like it should do. Give that a squirt of WD-40 to get rid of any swarf. That's much better. So now we can order the handbrake cable and we can fit it properly this time. Best remove the centre console. So to remove the handbrake cables, it's going to be easier just to remove the centre console and gain full access to those 2 cables. So we'll take that out. Now, we did find an angel and a £1 coin, but it's an old £1 coin. So I think that's take it back to the bank job, that one. Yeah, pretty little angel. Hiding away. So we've now got the driver's side off. And the passenger one now needs to come off as well. So we'll just flip the car around. She's still standing a bit rough. We're chugging away there. I'm going to chock the wheels. So this is the handbrake. So we pull that pin out. Try not to lose it like I did. I had to make another one of those. And then I found it later on. and then we can just take this cable out. So I've already disconnected it from underneath, like so. So we're getting ready. Step 18, resurface the inside of those drums. So I'm going to use my Makita die grinder here with a sanding drum, because there is a lip on there which needs to come away for this to slide back over the new brake shoes. And also by resurfacing it, it's going to get rid of any of the glaze, so the new pads will have a far better chance of actually holding the car. So that's looking a lot better now. So that's ready to go back on the car. So taking a look at these brake shoes, it's almost like they're unworn on the outside edge and then completely worn to the metal on the inside edge. So they must be rubbing at an angle, I think, inside the drum. And this is the remains of the metal splash guard, I think, which I think they're about £100 each. Time for some more OCD cleaning. So this is quite normal behaviour, to sit there with a torch under the wheel arch with the pressure washer. Yep, you often see people doing this. I certainly do in my driveway. So yeah, there's mud up there by the fuel filler pipe, and clearly it's bugging me. So while we wait for the new car parts to arrive, we might as well make sure she's completely spotless underneath. Yes. That's definitely not OCD, is it? Thank you for watching, and please see part 3 coming soon. If you can like and subscribe to the channel, that will help me create more content. Thank you.